Why, hello there, Professor Joel, and welcome to another episode of Planet Scooby Reviews. Today we are covering the Lochness Mess, and this is the final episode of Season 1 of the new Scooby-Doo Movies, and it originally aired on December 23rd, 1972, and man, is this one ever a Christmas miracle, as I feel like it's the best episode yet of this Scooby-Doo comedy movie series. In this episode, the gang meet up with the Harlem Globetrotters, and together they visit Shaggy's Uncle Nat for some relaxation time near Boston. Unfortunately, Uncle Nat is being plagued by some ghosts of the past, as well as a sea serpent. For some trivia, we get Shaggy actually driving the Mystery Machine for once, and we also see Shaggy at 3 years old, as well as Scooby at 3 months old, which is rather cool. Anyway, enough of my jibber jabber, let's get on with the review. The episode begins with the gang in the Mystery Machine on their way to Shaggy's great uncle's place from Boston. Daphne and Freddie were impressed with the historical sights of Boston, while Shaggy misses the pizza.
I'm sure glad we spent the day in Boston.
It was great seeing Paul Revere's house, the Old North Church.
Good old Uncle Nat. I haven't seen him for years.
On their travels, the gang come across the Harlem Globetrotters, and they all sit down to a barbecue picnic in the middle of nowhere.
Are those hamburgers coming, Middle Lark?
They're coming, Gip, they're coming. Hey, you guys, look who's here.
The Globetrotters. What would they be doing here?
The Globetrotters are looking for some peace and quiet, so Shaggy invites them to his Uncle Nathaniel's place to relax. Shaggy's uncle's place has 75 rooms, so it's no problem.
We're on our way to visit my Uncle Nathaniel. Why don't you come along with us?
Then it's settled. Let's clean up and go.
As the gang drive off with the Globetrotters, a sea serpent emerges from the lake and watches them drive off. Freddie and Daphne hang out in the Globetrotter bus while Shaggy drives the Mystery Machine, as Shaggy's the only one who knows the way to his uncle's place.
What kind of a map is this?
Like it's a road map. What else?
But what are all these marks all over it?
Huh? Oh, those. Those are all the hot dog and hamburger stands around here.
It's now nighttime, and Shaggy and the gang see a ghost in the middle of the road. The ghost warns them to go away, claiming to be the ghost of the past who roams these paths.
What's that? Oh my gosh.
Who's that? Go away.
Maybe it's a hitchhiker. Who are you?
Ghosts of the past roam these parts. Strangers are not welcome. Go.
I'm getting out of here.
Hold up! I want to talk to you.
The ghost then vanishes as quickly as he appeared. Shaggy drives off in a hurry and spots another ghost, which causes him to crash through a fence.
Go back! Go back!
The Harlem Globetrotters in their bus have trouble keeping up as Shaggy heads towards the bridge that is closed. Shaggy miraculously makes it through the bridge, and then Velma notices the bridge looks solid as a rock. Thus, the bridge closed sign is fake. While looking at the bridge, the gang come across Uncle Nathaniel, who built the bridge about 6 months ago. Uncle Nat is happy to meet everyone and says there's nothing wrong with the bridge, and he brings everyone back to the house for a snack.
Put it in myself 5-6 months ago. Now get that dag-nab light out of my eyes, sonny. Hi, Uncle Nat. Uncle Nat, meet my friends. This is Velma and Daphne and Freddie and the famous Globetrotters. The pleasure's all mine, folks. Well, mighty peculiar things have been happening of late. Come on up to the house for a snack and I'll tell you all about it.
Uncle Nat then explains lots of weird things are happening, and whoever put the bridge out sign was not him. Shaggy and Scooby tour the house, and Shaggy looks at all his family portraits on the walls, introducing Scooby to some old family members.
There's a portrait of my great-grandfather, Nathaniel. And there's my great-great-grandfather, Scoob. His name is Benjamin. And there's my great-great-grandmother, Matilda. It's the nose. Noses run in our family.
He also looks at an old family photo album, and we catch a glimpse of Scooby at 3 months old.
An old family album. Maybe I'm in here somewhere. Look, there I am. Guess who that is on the bearskin rug?
Huh? That's me.
While everyone is asleep, the ghost on a horse, pretending to be Paul Revere, drives past the house yelling, "Danger, danger. The British are coming. Leave at once."
The British are coming! Danger! Danger!
What's that?
What is it?
The British are coming! Leave at once! We are doomed!
This wakes everyone up, and Freddy thinks it might be one big joke. Uncle Nat is very unsettled by the ghosts, much like his nephew Shaggy, and he hasn't had a good night's sleep in weeks.
You mean that imitation Paul Revere shows up often?
You know, you'd think I'd be used to it by now, but there's something very unsettling about ghosts. Oh, I ain't had a good night's sleep in weeks.
Scooby and Shaggy have the misfortune of being the first to volunteer to stand guard, and they come across the first ghost in the house. The ghost laughs so loud he wakes everyone up, and everyone ends up getting separated in the confusion. One of the Globetrotters triggers a trapdoor on a bookshelf, and they find another ghost who once more takes chase. Soon everyone ends up in the kitchen where Uncle Nat is cooking with a stack of pancakes, and since it's now daytime, the gang and the Globetrotters plan on heading down to a nearby cove to do some scuba diving and fishing. Uncle Nat warns them of a sea serpent and to just keep their eye out for it.
I hate to mention this, but you might keep your eyes peeled when you're down at the cove. But some folks hereabouts claim to have seen something mighty peculiar down there, like a sea serpent.
The gang try to rent a boat, however, the owner tells them that they are closed, despite the sign saying that they are open. The gang say they're going to complain and talk to the police about this, so the owner reluctantly agrees to rent them some boats.
We'd like to rent some boats. Yep, we're closed. Man, you got a sign right out there says boats for rent, and you tell us you're closed.
What kind of business are you running anyway?
Yeah, we're gonna complain.
Yeah, to the sheriff or constable.
Or the city council. We'll have them revoke your license.
I don't suppose there'd be any harm in letting out a couple of boats.
Out on the water, the Globetrotters and the gang water ski, while the boat shop owners get yelled at by a man named Morgan, who says the gang are going to mess up everything that they have planned.
Idiots, I told you not to rent any boats.
But Morgan...
I don't want nobody snooping around.
At the bottom of the cove, Scooby and a few other of the Globetrotters spot a sunken boat. As they get near it, the sea serpent approaches them and scares them off.
But what happened? Hey, what happened?
Back at Uncle Nat's place, Uncle Nat says he's almost ready to sell the property to the boat shop owners, who we learn are named Winslow and Selby. Uncle Nat says he's too stubborn to move, but he's just getting tired of all these ghosts.
So you saw that sea serpent, eh, Shaggy?
The famous Lochness monster in Scotland. It's supposed to be a sea serpent that people claim to see every so often.
Yet nobody has ever taken a photograph of it. Just how much do you know about this creature, Uncle Nat? Have you ever seen it?
Nope. But about all I know is that up till now, it's only been seen at night.
Why, just like those ghosts.
Right. Matter of fact, between those ghosts on land and that creature in the cove, most folks have moved out of these parts. With all that's happening, those offers from Winslow and Selby sure tempt the spirit.
Freddy is suspicious, so everyone heads down to the cove at night to see if there is a connection between the ghosts and the sea serpent. Freddy, Shaggy, Scooby, and two Globetrotters hop in a boat, and they take it out to search for the sea serpent. The remaining Globetrotters and the girls stay on land, where they are soon chased by two ghosts. The girls and company end up at an old shack where a chase takes place.
There's no escape for ye.
Ending back up at the boat rental building, Velma has an idea on how to successfully hide. Out in the water, Freddy is ready to give up as they've been out on the water for an hour, but as soon as they are ready to head back, the sea serpent shows its head and takes chase. The sea serpent tries to swamp the boat, and Scooby accidentally ends up on the sea monster and punctures it with its claws. Turns out the serpent is just a hot air balloon that flies around now that it's punctured. As the sea monster flies about in the sky, he knocks two of the ghosts in the water, who turn out to be Winslow and Selby.
Well, so our ghosts are really Winslow and Selby.
The ghost of Paul Revere is still out there, and Curly takes him out with a basketball.
But that still leaves one ghost unaccounted for. The one with the lantern. Look.
Unmasking Paul Revere, it turns out to be Morgan. Winslow and Selby claim they were forced to go out and scare everyone due to Morgan's bullying. Morgan found an old sunken treasure ship in the cove and didn't want anyone to get all the gold. Uncle Nat laughs as this is just an old boat from a movie set and the gold inside is just phony and a prop.
Who is he? Name's Morgan. Been around here for a spell.
He invented that fake sea serpent. And it was working fine till you gang of snoopers came around. Morgan found an old sunken treasure ship out there in the cove. He didn't want nobody else to get the gold in it.
Shut up. It was probably the payroll for the British soldiers when they were here. It's a fake, a dummy, like your sea serpent.
What do you mean, fake? I saw the gold.
Years ago, a movie company made a motion picture here because of the extra clear water. It was called Sunken Treasure. Why, they just left it there when the movie was finished.
With another mystery solved, the gang head off on their next adventure. I give this episode a 9 out of 10. This is the best episode for me so far, as it has an excellent script with a lot of spookiness and a good plot. This one actually felt like a short movie, as it is very well paced. It has a lot of fun scenes, and it just kept me entertained. Uncle Nat was a joy, and Shaggy looking through his family portrait was also a lot of fun. The ghosts were rather meh, which is why it's not a perfect 10 out of 10. These are not ghosts I will remember, and I think it would have been a perfect episode maybe if they just focused on the sea monster. But then again, we had Uncle Nat's spooky mansion, and without ghosts, I guess it wouldn't have been as spooky. So I guess I see why they introduced the ghosts. I also wish they spent more time introducing the Globetrotters. This is more of a flaw for being 50 years later. You know, right now in 2021, I don't really know who these Globetrotters were other than my memory of watching this back as a kid in reruns. And I guess they didn't expect this episode to last, 50 years. They didn't expect people to be watching this 50 years later, which is probably why they didn't exactly introduce the Globetrotters. And also back then, the Globetrotters had their own cartoon series that had wrapped up. Plus, these players were actually on the Globetrotter team at the time. So, they were in the social consciousness. But 50 years later, to me, I don't really know who they are. And I just wish they spent more time introducing the characters. But despite my complaints, I certainly wish all new Scooby-Doo movies were of this quality, as it felt like a mini movie for once, where all the other ones kind of had a little bit of messiness to it. They had a bit of padding to it. This one was tightly paced and very enjoyable. Anyway, that wraps up my review, as well as me completing my reviews of all of season 1. Next week, I will be doing my series ranking. Then you'll be able to leave comments on my videos. Because I show cartoon clips in my episodes, I have to mark my content as made for kids. And because of that, comments can't be left. But next week, I won't be showing cartoon clips, just a cartoon backdrop or whatever on the old green screen. So you will be able to leave a comment for your favorite episodes or whatever else you want to talk about. I enjoy reading your comments, so I encourage you and would appreciate any comments if you are interested in leaving some. If you're not, don't worry. Just sit back, enjoy the review, whatever. It's all up to you, and whatever makes you happy, I'm happy with, right? Anyway, I want to thank you for any views, likes, subscribes, and shares for keeping my channel going. It also keeps me motivated, and it keeps people being introduced to my content, which helps my channel grow. Anyway, until next week when I will be doing my review of Series 1, stay spooky.
There's no escape for ye. Go back! Go back!
Go away.
Maybe it's a hitchhiker. Who are you?
The British are coming! Danger! Danger!
What's that?
What is it?
The British are coming! Leave at once! We are doomed!
Ghosts of the past roam these parts. Strangers are not welcome. Go.